Hello students, I welcome you all in my class. Today I'll take the remaining topics of chapter 1, Computer System. What is computer system? It can be considered as the combination of hardware and software which processes data to convert it into meaningful information. Hardware. What is hardware? It refers to all the physical parts of a computer which we can touch and see. It includes all input devices, processing devices, storage devices and output devices. The motherboard, monitor, keyboard, mouse, printers and the ICs, integrated circuits, are all examples of hardware. The CPU, Central Processing Unit, chip is the most important processing device, which is also a part of hardware. Now we start software. What is software? It is a set of programs which controls the internal operations of a computer and instructs a computer what to do. For example, Unix, MS Word, etc. Softwares are of two types, system software and application software. What is system software? That set of files and programs that help in operating the computer hardware and computer system itself is called system software. System software includes operating system, drivers for different devices, utility programs, and compilers. Other devices may also be there. Operating system software. It provides us user-friendly interface between the user and the bare machine. What is the role of operating system? Role of operating system is resource manager. It works as resource manager. How? A computer system has many resources like processor, memory, files, peripheral devices, etc. In a multi-user system where many programs are waiting to be executed and use the resources, it is the operating system which manages the resources and so is called the resource manager. Now we will see what is application software. These softwares are also called end-user programs. They are designed to help the computer user perform a certain type of task. For example, text manipulation. There are word processing softwares, and for tabulation of numbers, we have spreadsheets. Application software is not able to run without the system software. These software have been categorized as general purpose application software and special purpose application software. Third one is utility softwares. Now we will discuss about the basic organization of a computer system. A computer system has three important units. Number 1, input unit. Number 2, CPU, and number 3, output unit. Input unit, the input unit is that through which we provide instructions to computer. For example, mouse, keyboard, scanner, etc. Central processing unit. What do you understand by central processing unit? Actually, it is the main unit of computer system, which is also known as brain or heart, you can call it. What is the function of a CPU? It consists of 3 units, memory unit, control unit and ALU. Memory unit stores all the instructions given by input unit, and control units decide where to send the instructions. Means it is the main part of the central processing unit. ALU. What is the function of ALU? It performs all the arithmetical and logical functions of CPU. Now we come to output unit. What is the function of output unit? After processing the result, input unit is used to give the instructions to CPU. CPU prepares the result, and output unit, it gives the meaningful information, result or output you can say. So, examples of output units are monitor, printer, speaker, etc. Now you can see in the slide also different units which I have already discussed. Memory unit, ALU and CU functions are given, and apart from this input unit and output unit is also given in the chart. Now we come to how we can represent all these units through ray diagram. You can see the diagram. I have already discussed about all the units of computer system, basic organization of computer system. This is the diagram which can be represented through ray. You can see how instructions are passing from one unit to another and how result is getting prepared. Through input unit we are giving instructions, CPU is processing the instructions and preparing the result, and after that result is being displayed through output device. Now we will see memory unit. What do you understand by memory unit? As we have already understood, memory unit means unit of memory. Unit memory can be represented by bits, bytes, kilobytes, gigabytes, megabytes, which we have discussed in the previous session. Now we will discuss about the different types of memories. Computer has two types of memory, primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory, we can say primary memory includes, first we will discuss about internal memory and external memory. Then after I'll tell you about primary and secondary. So first you understand internal. Every computer has a certain amount of memory, usually referred to as the main memory. This is also called internal memory or primary memory. Primary memory is a place where data and programs are stored temporarily as long as they are being executed. It is very fast and expensive but has limited storage capacity, and internal memory is of two types, RAM and ROM. RAM means random access memory and ROM means read-only memory. Now, first we will understand what is RAM. As the name suggests, any data from any location in RAM can be accessed at any time. RAM is read-write memory. We can read data from RAM and we can write data on RAM. Read process is non-destructive. That is, if we read data from a location, it still remains in the location. Write process is destructive. That is, if we write data in a memory location which already has some data stored in it, the previous data disappears and is replaced by the new data. That's why RAM is known as volatile memory. Whenever the power is switched off, anything and everything stored in RAM vanishes. That is why it is known as volatile memory or temporary memory. Now we will see the types of RAM. What are the main types of RAM? First one is DRAM, Dynamic Random Access Memory. It stores data temporarily as the data is lost when the power supply is suspended. It needs to be refreshed periodically in order to retain data. This makes it slower than SRAM. What do you understand by SRAM? Static Random Access Memory. It is fast and expensive. It does not need to be refreshed like DRAM to retain information. It loses data when power is turned off. Next is SDRAM. Synchronous Dynamic Random Access Memory. It uses a synchronous interface to transmit large amount of data at high speed. This improves the efficiency of a computer as data is delivered in a shorter duration. Next one is DDR, Double Data Rate Memory. It is used in Intel Pentium 4 systems. It requires less power and has a speed which is double than that of a SDRAM. High speed RAM like DDR2, DDR3, DDR4 are used with faster processors like 3, 5 and 7. Intel 7 means i3, i5 and i7. Now we will discuss about ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory. It is a type of memory from which information can only be read. You can see this memory allows only read operations and does not let us write anything on it. ROM is used to store low-level machine functions, microprograms which increase the efficiency of processor. Unlike RAM, ROM retains its stored data even if the power goes off, so it is non-volatile memory. ROM is of different types. Now we will read about the different types of ROM. First one is PROM, Programmable Read-Only Memory. This type of ROM chip can be programmed according to the user by using a specialized software. Once it has been programmed, it cannot be altered further. Next one is EPROM, Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory. This type of ROM can be erased and reprogrammed again and again by using specialized software. The process of erasing is done either by using ultraviolet light, UPROM means ultraviolet programmable read-only memory, or electricity, EAPROM, electrically alterable programmable read-only memory. Now comes EEPROM, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. This type of ROM can be reprogrammed with special electric pulses. Now we will read about flash. What is flash? It is a specific type of EEPROM which maintains the stored information even without a power source. The contents can be erased and reprogrammed into big sections, making it faster than the regular EEPROM. Flash memory, being durable, is used in memory cards, mobile phones, MP3 players, etc. Now we come to masked ROM. It is memory that is manufactured with its contents. This chip contains a software mask that is burned on the chip during the design phase of semiconductor manufacturing process. It is used in the computer systems that require long-term sustainability. So, now we will see cache memory. What is cache memory? Cache, pronounced as cache, It is a special high-speed memory that is also a type of physical memory which can either be inserted on a motherboard or made a part of the CPU. The CPU uses cache memory to store instructions that are repeatedly required to run programs, improving the overall system speed. The advantage of cache memory is that the CPU does not have to use the system bus of the motherboard for data transfer, and thus it makes the processing speed much faster. Means cache memory is very fast. Cache is much more expensive than RAM, but it is well worth getting a CPU and motherboard with inbuilt cache memory because it makes your computer faster and in order to maximize the system performance. Now we come to external memory. What is external memory? External memory is also known as auxiliary memory or secondary memory. It is needed since the main memory is temporary, expensive and insufficient to store a huge amount of data. Whenever we require a large amount, if we require that we have to store a large amount of data in our system, then we require this type of memory. So you can see I may discuss the different examples of secondary memory, or you can say external memory. But I'll tell you the examples of secondary storage memory, or you can say external memory. Magnetic disk. Examples are magnetic disk, Winchester disk, means hard disk, floppy disk, CD-ROM, DVD, Blu-ray, pen drive. These are the examples of external memory which you insert from outside to store your data, and you can also take it out from your computer and carry with you. This is all about the chapter. Now what you have to do? You have to go through the chapter once again so that you can better understand it, and you can understand it in a better way. And that's all for today. We are going to meet soon in the next class. Bye bye. Take care.